Why don't you
We
do
didn't get a countdown.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
All right. And we're recording. That's the new intro song, guys. For those of you who are watching, welcome. We're recording. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. That is the new intro song. It's got to be tweaked a bit. There's still some things I got to do, some levels I need adjustments. And my favorite part about that was watching Missy laugh laugh when it said, let me get this out and before you fucking interrupt me. And she laughed. But you couldn't see her. You, the viewer, couldn't see her, but I could see her. Anyways, thank you guys for checking us out. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Missy.
Hello.
Don't fucking interrupt her. And Mike, I like playing vanilla sex.
Vanilla sex for the win. I'm going to live forever. No belts around this neck.
Oh, no.
This neck is belt free. I don't even wear neckties.
It'll be a good day.
I don't even like ties on my bread, much less.
Yeah, I pull that shit off, then I just twist it up and flip it under and then put it down on top of it. Same thing.
What is
I hate
happening?
soccer because I don't like ties. One of you has to win.
Are you doing a bit or is this an original thing?
Vanessa
I don't
said,
know, I'm just making shit up.
where do you go from there?
Only up. Only up.
All right. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. This is our 9th annual top 10 movies of the year episode. Now, here's the thing. We've technically done 8 of the top 10. But Mike and I, the very first year, we did a
Oscar roundup, no?
It was like the movies that came out that year, but it wasn't a top 10 list. It was a bracket thing where like this movie's better than that movie and that movie's better.
Yeah.
Like a fantasy, whatever the hell.
Like a March Madness.
Yes.
That thing. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But it was just of the movies that came out the previous year. Like, and then we didn't know. I gotta be honest with you, that was a pretty cool format. I think we should go back to that shit.
I was doing that at Unsung Heroes. That was one of my favorite things we would do in my live show. We would do the brackets of whatever it was, and then the only rule was the person on stage at the time got to pick. So the person on stage could be the spoiler and be like, pick the underdog or pick the pick the wrong movie, because randomly, I forget, like The Sixth Man won the best basketball movie of Unsung Heroes. The Sixth Man. And that was just how it went because whoever was on stage got to pick the winner at the time. It was ridiculous. It's so fun. I miss doing it. It's so fun.
So that's a different podcast that Mike doesn't do anymore, but we're talking about this podcast now. Anyway, so this year
Mary's like doesn't like me talking about it like it's like an ex-girlfriend of mine. It's like, why don't you go fuck her then?
Yeah. Then why the fuck are you here then, Michael?
Why are you
here, huh?
Why are you with me?
Oh man.
More podcast pussy for me.
Oh boy.
So listen, guys, we almost didn't record this episode because of Rona and theaters being shut down and a lot of movies being pushed back and a lot of movies being delayed. I thought to myself, no, I don't want to do it because there wasn't enough movies to watch. And then the Oscar nominations came out, and I was like, fuck, if there's enough for the Oscars, like we should be able to watch some of these movies, right? Like,
No, not the same. But I mean, yeah, but no.
I don't mean the same. We should be able to watch those movies that got nominated. I don't care about those artsy fartsy shits. I'm talking about like if there's enough for those, there's enough for us to do a top 10. So I said, let's do it. So yeah, this will be just a heads up to the listener, to the viewer. This would be the easiest top 10 list that we've ever made in the history. Because chances are we've seen 14 movies and we just had to get 4 out of the way.
14.
That's crazy. 15 is my number.
11.
15 that I was able to like recall watching and like is on the list of movies that I remember watching. Because honestly, so if you notice, I miss this so much.
Yeah.
Like I miss just sitting in a fucking movie theater so much.
Dropping your soda.
Yeah, like, you know, popcorn, candy, you know, whatever your thing was. But I miss like the like this space was dedicated.
The experience.
Yeah. And I realized when we were talking about what movies to put on the list, I have been watching like TV and like YouTube streams and like D&D shows that are like long format because I was like kind of subconsciously turning away from movies because it would just remind me that I couldn't go to the movies, you know? So like it was like I genuinely think I was like had an aversion to sitting and watching a movie because it reminded me that I couldn't be here, you know?
Yeah, that's weird, Mike.
It's not weird. It's
weird.
Relatable.
It's like if I can't see you in a movie theater, I don't want to see you at all. Like,
okay, but there's a case to be made for that in one of my movies. So,
but it reminds me also, like, you know, like it would make me sad, man. Like I miss like when I would like have to think about stuff to do. I'm like, there's like you want to go do something, but then you can't because it's all closed. I mean, I'm in New York where people follow rules. So like it's different than in Florida. Except my governor. Yeah.
Except your governor.
Except your governor's a creep.
Those deaths don't count. Move them over.
Yeah, there's plenty of legitimate reasons to hate that Cuomo guy, and like, but there's been so many reaches. Like, yeah, hate him for the fucking. He's a piece of shit. But here, honestly, in New York, everything's been closed and shut down and all that stuff. So anytime you would think about doing something, you would have to like, well, I guess I can't. And it's sad, you know, like it made me sad. And movies was like a big thing that I missed a lot. And then when I don't have, I guess we shouldn't talk about movies yet.
Well, I was gonna ask you not to name the movie, but because it's probably, I'm assuming it's on your list. But the question I'm gonna ask is the last movie you saw in theaters on your list? Did it make your list?
Yes.
Yeah, mine too. And we'll get whenever you get to that, just mention this is the last movie I saw in theaters.
Yes.
All right. So let's get it going, man. We're going to go around the horn. This is Mount Geekmore rules for those watching and listening. If you haven't checked out Mount Geekmore, first of all, go check out Mount Geekmore. It's fucking fun. Second of all, the rules we go around the horn giving our picks. And if somebody makes a pick that you have later on, meaning that you have it placed higher in your list, just call a table and then we'll leave it on the table for later and we'll talk about it later. There's going to be a bit of a time limit. So let's limit this to 3 minutes of talking per movie. So I will give you a little heads up and give you, let's see what, let me see. I will give you a banner when you're at 2 minutes. And it will look like this.
Hey, look at that.
All right, that's the light. I'm giving you the lights. So, and there's that.
Are we gonna go over our honorable mentions like we do? Because I feel like there's movies there's movies that I saw that I aren't on my list, but I feel like it should get mentioned.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Go with what you feel.
I know.
Not.
All right. So let's set it off with Missy. Missy, what is your number 10?
Okay. I just want to preface this that I'm well aware that this is an awful, awful list. But I had a similar experience to Mike last year where I couldn't bring myself to really watch anything new because half the fun of watching movies is going to the movies. There's a specific scenario that I miss the most, which is going to movies with my friends. And so I watched a lot of movies last year, but not a lot of new things. So I'm very limited. And that's why my number 10 is the YouTube documentary, This is Paris. Now wait, let me explain myself.
I don't even know what that is.
I will explain myself, and then you will want to kill me. But I needed a number 10, so here we are. This is Paris is a documentary on the one and only Paris Hilton. Now, I found it interesting because I was at my friend Stephanie's house, which we know, and she's like, let's watch the Paris documentary. And I fully went into it going, cool, I'm going to roast the shit out of this. But as it turns out, it's not as roastable as you think it is because she's been through some traumatic shit. And apparently, I don't know if it's a rich people thing or like it's very Scientology-esque where if you get out of line and you have enough money, you can send your kid away to some kind of like military boot camp school for an extended amount of time. And they did that to her, but her parents did that to her. And the way that they did it to her was that they had 4 grown-ass men come into her room in the middle of the night when she was 14 and just take her out of her bed, put her in a van, and just take her to school. And that's where she fucking was for 3 years. And when she was done in that school with all of that is when she became Paris Hilton. And that's when the socialite thing happened. And that's when the, sex tape happened or whatever. And it's actually very interesting peek into a very absurd and ridiculous world. And I actually walked away with a little bit of empathy for her. So yeah, it was a bit of a journey. So Paris, This is Paris is my number 10. There you go.
Interesting.
That's really nice. You guys are being nice. Are you drunk? What's going on?
No, I mean, like, that's the thing about documentaries. I didn't even think to put documentaries on here. I saw a bunch of documentaries, but I didn't even think about documentaries as movies. I guess that's on me.
I have yet to put a documentary on a movie. I'm sorry, on a top 10 list, because most of the documentaries that I watch are docu-series.
Yeah, that's true.
That route. Now, this year, I will say that, spoiler alert for next year's episode, the Patrice O'Neal documentary is probably going to make my list. But for the most part, that's the reason why I didn't. That's the reason I have never put a documentary on my list, because most of the documentaries I watch are in series form. All right, so This is Paris. Michael, what do you got for your number 10?
For number 10, I have Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn thing.
Table.
Okay.
No.
All right, Birds of Prey. All right, hold on. My number 10 is I'm gonna go with Croods 2.
Croods 2.
Croods 1 made my list the year that it came out. Croods 2, it's an animated movie by not Pixar,
DreamWorks.
Yeah, and it's very DreamWorks. First of all, is like the redheaded stepchild of like the animated world. Apparently,
don't you insult Shrek that way?
Only when you compare.
DreamWorks is awesome.
But we had an episode of Geek More where we did our Rushmore of DreamWorks movies, and there are some DreamWorks movies that I legitimately love more so than Pixar movies. Not to be that guy with like DC versus Marvel, my point is, I really love the movie Croods. Croods 2 was really fun. I will say that this probably suffered from us not watching it in theaters, only because the kids were like all over the place. Like they were running around watching this movie, and for the most part, they don't do that at theaters. So it's kind of like we had to parent and like, hey, stop talking, and I couldn't pay
Boo.
attention. Yeah,
Boo parenting.
boo, fuck this. But I love Croods. I love Croods too. It's a lot of fun. They take a lot of liberties with the animals. They combine animals all the time. And in Croods 2, they have a wolf that's also a spider. So like it's a wolf body with like a spider with 8 hairy legs, not fairy, and it has 6 eyes. It's a whole fucking thing. So anyways, I'm a big fan of the franchise. I watched the Netflix series after the original movie, so Croods 2.
Is it worth getting into the Croods animated universe?
The Croods animated universe is legitimately fucking great.
Really? I hear it's good. Like underrated. Yeah.
Great. And
You
it's
told
really,
me it was underrated.
and here's the thing, they like a lot of DreamWorks movies, they're really funny, like adult funny, not like funny for an animated movie, but legitimately funny. So I would say yes, the Croods is very funny. All right, so that is my number 10. Number 9, Missy, what's your number 9?
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
So here's the thing with this movie. If last year would have gone completely different, no way would this movie would have made my top 10. But this is the last movie I saw in the movie theaters. And it was...
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, BFF. Sorry.
And and in the context of last year, it was aesthetically pleasing. It was a lot of fun to watch the last, 30 minutes, was it? 30, 40 minutes? The third act was a lot of fun to watch. The beginning, the first 2 acts were kind of meh. Like I went in there with high expectations. I was told by somebody that it was better than the first Wonder Woman. So I was very intrigued and very interested to see if that was true. It was not true. It was a big fat fucking lie. But fun was had, and Margot Robbie could do no wrong. Like, I am a lifer supporter of hers. She can do all the shit movies. It's like the same rules as Melissa McCarthy. She could do shit movies for the rest of her life, and I'm still gonna get into it. So that's why it was my number 9.
It was totally not as bad as the fanboy bullshit that came for it. You know what I mean? Come on. It was
there was fanboy shit that came after it. Like it was like reviewed very well.
I remember people talking mad shit about it, but it was like the standard misogynistic, internet shit that was coming out. I guess on Reddit it was like, there was a lot of people talking shit about it, but it was fun. Like I had fun watching it, and it was just like this fun comic booky movie, which I really think that it should be done like fun. Like the reason why Thor Ragnarok is so good, because it's so fucking colorful and fun, and like the reason why like it's like if like why remember that cut of Man of Steel that they showed the colors that were brighter.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
the second you add more color, it feels more fantastical. It feels more like comic booky, and yeah, and it was just this bright. There was these beautiful women kicking ass. It was dope. I mean, it was just like, and it was fun. And Ewan McGregor was like a good villain. It was fine. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie, really, to be honest with you, and I didn't realize how we were watching it. Missy and I were watching it together, and we were like an hour and 10 minutes in, and she looked at me. She was like, "Hey, this is meh, right?" I'm like, "Oh fuck, thank God!" Like I literally thought I'm the only one. I'm like, "Oh no, am I the only?" Like I was thinking that like I'm not really enjoying myself with this. The last half hour I enjoyed very much, but the rest I just didn't care for.
Another reason why I probably liked it a lot, it was because it was in the middle of COVID when we were trapped, and I was just like looking for an escape of something, and I'm like, oh, this is great, because we were all just stuck inside. So because I watched it once it came out on digital. So like I guess if you saw it in the theater and you were like, I paid money for this.
No, because for me it was more of a thing of like, it was super overhyped. on my end, and that works against me for anything, like across the board. If you beat it over my head that this is the greatest thing that's ever happened, I'm gonna reject it. Just there's something wrong in my brain. So
I didn't want to do that to you 300 for you the other day because I was like, no, really. I'm like,
so
no, watch whenever you get a chance. Watch it whenever.
Murder. But that should be the clip. Murder. But yeah, it was a fun movie. Like, again, in the context of how last year turned out, it made the list. But I feel like for sure 100% there was no way it was going to make it if it had been a regular movie watching year for me.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some comments real quick because we have a lot of them piling up. We have Pico saying, "What's up?
What's up?"
And he says that he loved the Tiger King, the movie.
The movie? I believe.
What is that, Joe Dirt?
He also says that his Wonder Woman
number 11
is his number 11. Wow. Vanessa enjoyed Croods too. It was so good. I agree. That's why it was on my own.
She was on the DreamWorks mountain.
And Jeff says, when you give me a fight scene with the song Black Betty in it, I'm in. Yeah, I know I need a little bit more in my movies than just a music video. I feel like a jerk because I'm a huge Rosie Perez fan. And when she came on screen, I'm like, man, she looks fucking old, huh?
Oh no, you
that
monster.
Actually happened.
Right? But I'm a huge fan of hers, even so much so that I know that she voices the character Click, the camera on Dora, not Dora the Explorer, but the other ones.
The Manny one.
What was his name? My wife is gonna help me out with this in a minute.
Is it a kid's thing?
Yeah, it's a kid's thing. And
Handy Manny.
No, it's Diego.
Hey, spaghetti.
Go Diego, go. It's Go Diego, go. It's literally Dora's cousin.
No idea what the fuck that is.
But if you watch it, it's like if you ever watch Dora the Explorer, you know there's a character called Map, and it's like, I'm the map. Like that's literally all the fucking say. And then she plays a camera, and she goes, click, click. Like that's all she fucking says.
She gets a paycheck for that.
She gets a paycheck. Yeah. Well, I mean,
what
not
the
fuck? I'm sure by now they don't do new episodes right now. But my point is, I'm a huge fan of hers. And then when I saw her, I was like,
Click. She's in a lot more than that.
Not because of Click. I'm giving the example that I even knew that she was Click. She was, ever since back in the days, ever since she did White Man Can't Jump, she's had my heart. She's
great in Pineapple Express.
Click. Take a pic.
Raise your hand if you're not a parent.
I don't give a fuck. That's just hilarious. All right, so that's it for the comments for right now. We're at Mike's number 9.
My number 9 is An American Pickle. Did anybody see the Seth Rogen movie where he plays his old man?
I did see that, and I can't believe that this is on your list.
I enjoyed it. Here's the thing. I am putting the movies that I felt were fun. You know, like I had a good time watching it because there's movies that I saw that are better, of course, like in terms of bigger. Quality. I'll say bigger. No, bigger. But it was a fine, like I enjoyed it, you know, and it was a good little, like it's low on my list, you know, it's number 9, but it was also like there was some funny moments, some laugh out loud stuff, and it was, you know, like him being this old Jewish immigrant who's like struggling and then just like amazed at how, like whenever he talks about the hardship of like the olden times, I thought it was funny. I thought it was clever, and you know, it was good. I thought it was fine.
So I enjoyed the movie. I didn't like the movie. If that makes any sense. I didn't think it was funny at all. Like I don't remember any laugh out loud moments. And I definitely, but I enjoyed the ride. I remember it was like an interesting premise. I felt like the premise was strong enough. The follow through I don't think was funny enough, but I don't think it was funny at all. So it definitely wasn't funny enough. But in my mind, I remember thinking, it's fine. Like I don't regret watching this, but
I mean, I'll give you. Do you want to know what else is on my list to choose from? Like, because it's you know,
no.
This is what I picked. This is my 9.
You don't even have documentaries.
I feel like shut up. I feel like I forgot about that movie existed, but I do remember seeing the poster of it and being interested. So perhaps I should give it a try.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let me see here. My number 9 is gonna be The Hunt. The Hunt.
Which
What is
one's
that
that one?
about?
So The Hunt is a movie, and I'm pretty sure Jeff saw this movie and he liked it too. Jeff's in the chat now in the chat.
Hey, Jeff.
There wasn't enough use of the
Oh,
name
come on.
Martha in it for Neri's taste. I don't know what movie he's talking about
It's
specifically.
a job about birds of prey, man.
Oh,
Martha.
is he just watching us really late? Or is he just coming with a joke 2 picks later? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know.
Um,
The Hunt is so the movie. The whole premise is they get a bunch of people who who have gone online and disagreed with a certain political view, and they gather them up on an island, and then they are hunting the people who are the elitist. Are hunting these people because those people caused the rich people to lose their job over political statements that weren't politically correct. Sounds a little confusing the way I'm explaining it, but I'm trying to like not give away type certain shit.
yeah.
But it's very cool, and they kidnap some people, they put them in an island, and then it's like we're gonna hunt you, and they just picked the wrong girl. They picked the wrong lady to fucking kidnap. So that's all I want to tell you. She's on the cover, so you know whatever. But I love the way it went down.
Is it
Hilary
the one?
Swank.
Is it the one with the girl from Glow?
I don't know what Glow is, so I'm gonna.
It's a
Oh,
TV show on Netflix.
The
No.
Netflix Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling show.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that. I don't know what that means. No, I know the show, but I
Yes,
don't know what it
yes,
is.
Mike.
It's
She
that
is.
girl. Yeah,
Betty Gilpin. She's
Betty
on it.
Gilpin. Yeah, she's like the protagonist.
Yes.
Well, there's
Yes.
a lot of these hunting human movies, right? Like The Most Dangerous Game is like that story about how people hunt, like hunting the most dangerous game is where they get a person on the Pest. You remember The Pest with John Leguizamo?
Yes.
That was like a version of that story.
Survivor, was it Survivor? The one with Ice-T with Ice Cube?
Yes, Ice Cube. No, Ice-T.
Ice-T. And then there was another one called Hard Target with Van Damme that was also about hunting homeless people in New Orleans. Anyways, what was I gonna tell you? All right, so that's my pick, The Hunt. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. 2 thumbs up. Very cool. And it's pretty. You know who's in the movie? Hilary Swank.
Really?
I said, yeah.
She's the main antagonist.
Wow.
So I have a question. Is this movie horror or suspense?
No, it's not horror at all. I don't even think it's suspense. It like leans kind of towards suspense, but it's like a lot of action. The only reason it leans kind of towards suspense is because you don't know what's happening in the story. You're like, what's going on? Why are these people here? So that's the quote unquote suspense, but it's not like jump scares. It's not like any of that shit. It's really just
I'll be the judge of that.
Well, I'm a huge pussy. I get scared for shit all the time. So I don't. If I'm watching it, that should give you the fucking the pussy presidential seal of approval.
Nope.
You know, I just meant that I'm the president of the sissy club. All right. Where are we at? So number 8, Missy, what do you got for number 8?
Number 8 is Happiest Season, the Hulu Family Stone esque type of movie that came out for the holidays.
Happy Season?
Happiest Season. So this movie stars, and it's gonna hurt me to say it, but this movie stars Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis. Yes, wow is correct because see. So this movie is, I want to say, like a 2020 version of Family Stone. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but it's like a very dysfunctional family that's trying to play it off very conservative and clean cut or whatever. And Mackenzie Davis plays this girl named Harper. She invites her live-in girlfriend, played by Kristen Stewart, named Abby, to come home with her for the holidays. And the big twist is that her parents don't know she's gay. So the story takes off from there, and actually, to break the mold, because usually Kristen Stewart's the one playing the asshole in most of the movies that she's in. She's actually not the asshole in this movie. The girl is, because she like kind of forces the girlfriend to go back into the closet to play it off for the family, and it's a very weird dynamic, but kind of fitting holiday movie in my opinion, because I feel like holidays are just a recipe for all kinds of family shit to this. Oh, and it has a really cool cast. Wait, I'm got it here. Dan Levy is on. He plays the best friend. God damn it, he's so good in this movie. And he's not. He should have had. I wish he would have had more of a bigger role, because his one-liners were just chef's kiss. So you can catch it on Hulu. It's a holiday movie, so maybe not until December. I don't know if that bothers you or not. It would bother me, but Happiest Season is my number 8.
My favorite one of those that type of movie of hiding, this thing is the Birdcage. Like, I don't think anybody's ever done anything better than the Birdcage.
That's it. Like, that's the best one.
It's so good.
Which one? The original or the remake?
The one with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane.
The remake. Okay, cool.
The remake, yeah. That one to me is like that is infinitely watchable.
Birdcage.
Remember that whole pedantic thing we were talking about last time?
Oh my god.
No. I'm asking a question because I don't know. Some people don't like.
Oh yeah, he's asking a question.
Some people don't like remakes. I don't know. I was just asking which one.
Yeah. Some people don't. Can we focus on the topic at hand?
All right. Jeff wrote this 5 minutes ago, but I thought it was funny to bring it up 5 minutes later. You just suck at reading comics on time.
Oh my god.
You suck. He's like a WWE audience member.
Oh shit! You know, on my phone, I must have pressed the speak to text, and it copied everything Missy said about that movie. I wrote down everything Missy said about that movie, so I have it in writing. Wow. How awful of a selection that is! Like legit, like Missy has, and to her credit, she did say this on her own. She did say that
bad list.
That had it been any other year, most of these movies would not make her list.
Oh, absolutely not. I literally watched 11 movies, like new movies last year, so I had to work with the shit that I had. So
I wonder what pick is gonna be when Missy finally picks a movie that would have made the list last.
I have the higher we go up, the higher probability.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. All right, so that's what was that? Your number 8, Missy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Happiest Season. I didn't want to like that movie, but I did.
What's your number 8, Mike?
My number 8 is again from a streaming service from Hulu called Palm Springs. The Andy Samberg.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things about it.
It's like a Groundhog Day type of ripoff, but it's got a different twist to it. It feels different. There's he's not alone, and he ends up sucking in this girl that is a guest at a wedding. Like it's just you relive the same day over and over again until you learn a lesson movie, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That like Groundhog Day. But it's very clever. It's super charming. And Andy Samberg is funny in it. And J.K. Simmons is in it. And he plays this weird random, like it goes in a lot of weird directions in a way that you're not like,
and you thought it was predictable, and then it had a couple of twists.
Not necessarily, because it's not like telling someone that a movie has a plot twist is a spoiler in and of itself. Like if you say like, "Oh, get ready, the twist is huge," then you're on the look for the twist the whole time. But the idea of like it just has a very different tone than I was expecting from the trailers and all that stuff. And it was just like an interesting, clever, funny, charming movie. It was genuinely a good time, and I highly recommend it. Like American Pickle is like whatever, I saw it and I had a good time. But Palm Springs, I would be like, go watch it. It's good. I liked it a lot, and it was like clever. And the actress's name, Kristen Milioti, or what is her name? But yeah, she's great in the movie. And it's just a really, really fun movie.
Cool. I really liked it. Yeah, I meant to watch it, but I didn't.
I hadn't heard of it, but it sounds interesting.
Kristen Milioti, yeah.
I'm a fan of Andy Samberg, dude. I'm a fan. So,
It's definitely a recommend.
all right. My number 8. We're number 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
My number 8. It's gonna be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Table.
Speaking of plot twists.
All right. So Sonic the Hedgehog. Let me see. What do you got for your number 7?
My number 7 is Old Guard.
Table.
No?
Old Guard
Yeah?
was on my honorable mentions.
Oh.
Table?
Oh my God. You're gonna wait a while. Let's see.
I'm not holding my breath.
Olivia says Palm Springs wasn't bad. That's a good choice.
Yeah, it was good.
Hey, that's my friend.
All right. Mike? What did you? I said Sonic the Hedgehog. You said Table.
Yeah.
Missy, you said
no. We haven't gotten to
Old Guard.
7. Oh, Old Guard. That's her number 7.
Old
yeah.
Guard is my number 7. Wait, can I switch it? No, it's too late. I already said it. Old Guard.
You already said it.
I said it.
You said it. Now forget it. Mike, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is Eurovision Song Contest: The Story of Fire Saga.
The fuck did you just say, guys?
The Eurovision Song Contest movie that Will Ferrell did with Rachel McAdams.
Yes. I meant.
Oh, yeah.
So
It was good.
Unexpectedly fun. It was great. I unabashedly loved that movie. Yaya Ding Dong became a thing that I would say to people like, Yaya Ding Dong. Like it is. I can't tell you how much fun I had with it, and the music is fun. And like again, 2020 having been fucked over, canceled Eurovision. Now, do you know what Eurovision is?
No.
Either of you?
Is it a real thing?
It is a very real thing. It is the biggest music show. It's like almost like the Olympics in Europe, where each country submits a song, like an artist, and they submit a song, and then all of the world votes on it, but and then they crown the winner of the song contest. Like it's been going on forever, but in America, no one really knows about it, but it's this huge, like Olympics style song. It's like the Olympics, but with songs. And this year was supposed to be the Eurovision was supposed to happen, and because of 2020, it got canceled. So this movie was, you can see, tied in, supposed to have been released like around that time because it featured some of the singers and stuff. Who's the guy from Beauty and the Beast remake? The Dan Stevens, he's in it.
Mm-hmm.
God, Pierce Brosnan is in it, but it like Will Ferrell is, and Rachel McAdams play like this team, this people from a small town in Iceland, and then they submit a song to Eurovision.
The trailer looked great. I laughed.
It's so much more fun. It's so much more fun than it had any right to be. It was so catchy. The songs were good. There's this big moment at the end. It was awesome. It was just a good movie.
That's one of the ones that was like a Netflix original, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a Netflix original.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I should have watched it. That's pretty much all I watched. It was Netflix. But I wanted to watch it. I just never got a chance to it. But I will watch it. All right. What are we at? 7?
If you want to get a song stuck in your head.
Uh-huh.
He has kids. He watches kids shows. What are you talking about?
I'm listening. Did you freeze? What's going on, Mike? Why'd you stop talking?
He can't hear us.
I think I'm freezing. Oh no, hold on. Let me shut everything down.
Bum,
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Again, something from Crudes.
Comments? What does the comment section look like?
Same as it did before. Palm Springs wasn't bad. That's a good choice.
We did it. We already did that.
Are you good, Mike?
All right. I'm good. I'm better now, but it's still like I've shut everything down that I can.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I don't think it's me though.
Well, nobody else is moving.
Okay, go.
Nobody else is doing that. Missy and I are talking just fine. All right. Let me see here. My number 7 is a Netflix original movie called Project Power. Project Power.
What's
with
that?
Go on.
with Jamie Foxx and the guy from 500 Days of Summer.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He has
Yes.
his name.
Yeah. He loved that Will Ferrell movie.
Look, I'm not alone.
And Pico says that he forgot that it was a 2020. So yeah, Project Power is an action movie. It's like a ridiculously fucking crazy, balls to the wall, super like it's like a very loud, it's like a very like just in your face type of movie. And it has an amazing cast. Like I said, Jamie Foxx and the guy from 500 Days of Summer.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Sorry, the guy from G.I. Joe. And it was it's very well acted. And the whole premise is that there is a drug out there that gives you amazing powers for 5 fucking minutes, like literally 5 minutes. And they start flooding they start flooding the public with these, and you never know which power you're gonna get. Like everybody has a certain power, everybody's like DNA structured to a certain power. Some of them kill you immediately, like on tap. Like some of them just you become this thing of lava and you just die. So you never know what you get. So it's a very dangerous drug because you don't never know. Like especially if you're taking it for the first time. Once you take it for the first time, you could pretty much know what you're gonna get every time. But it's only for 5 minutes, and then the criminal, it's this thing where they're trying to find out where it came from, who started giving it out, who started donating this, whatever the fuck. So it's this whole thing. It has an actual story, it has an actual plot, but the action is so bananas, off the fucking wall crazy, that I just dug it. I fucking dug it.
Now, what's it called? Project what?
Project Power.
Power.
Yeah, and it came out right at the beginning of quarantine. It was like right at the beginning, or maybe like right before, and or something like that. But it just got lost in the shuffle. Missy's face when Neri says some fuck shit is a poem.
Yeah, I can't play poker.
I don't know what that means. What did I say?
That's back when you were casually mentioned that the Birdcage is a remake, and you brought that shit up. She said I made it.
This comment is that old too. Damn.
Damn. It just came up. I put it up, right? Like it's not fucking me, right? All right. So Project Power, big fan of it. It's fucking balls to the wall, man. I like that movie a lot. So Project Power. Missy, you're number 6. Are we at 6?
My number 6 is Extraction. It's
Table.
What the? Because I'm all right.
It's true.
You watched 11 movies. For sure that we doubled up on some of these.
No, but she just has her movies really low. All right. So Mike, what did you get for your number 6?
The Wrong Missy.
Okay.
Did anybody see The Wrong Missy?
We did.
No.
My wife and I did.
I loved it.
Just to watch it because it has her name on it, and people keep telling her to watch it.
It's like me with that John Travolta movie, Michael. No, man, of course not. Who cares? The Wrong Missy is great. I thought Lauren Lapkus was funny. David Spade is the straight man to this crazy person. I thought it was clever and enjoyable and fun. I really thought there was some really funny moments, really funny physical comedy. It was just like a slapsticky, goofy movie.
So there was a couple really hilarious fucking moments, right? Super hilarious moments. When he wakes up on the plane and she's jerking him off.
Yes.
And he's trying to like play it off as if like nobody could know, but everybody in the fucking plane knows. and it's just fucking funny. There's like really funny moments of that movie. The problem that I had with this, and Tanya loves this movie. Tanya says loved the wrong Missy. So here's a problem that I have with this movie is that they make the Missy lady, they make her so fucking crazy. They make her so unlikable. Her behavior is so unlikable that when there's that inevitable, it's a romantic comedy, so we know it's coming, right? So, but when they do the inevitable, like this is the reason why I act this way, and it's like, oh, now you're endearing. It's not. It doesn't make up for it doesn't make up for the awful fucking behavior that she did for 50 minutes of the movie. The last 20 minutes are not. They didn't. It felt like if I just walked in the last half hour of the movie, I would be like, oh, this is a cute movie. And if I walked in and I saw the first hour of the movie by itself, I'd be like, oh, this is fucking hilarious, slapstick. And this is, but when they try to do that twist to me, I was just like, my wife, Vanessa, is the one that said it to me first. She was like, I can't fucking like her. I'm like, I know. I can't like her. She's banana scared. But the slap
I had to I had to process it a little differently because there was that moment of like, oh my God, this asshole. And you know how I am? Like, I don't like that movies that where people are just like assholes, but she was also kind of like genuinely defending herself from people thinking she's like, hey, I'm doing my shit, leave me alone. And there was stuff at the beginning that I had forgotten about by like, because it's so throwaway, the movie like felt very throwaway that I wasn't really paying attention until like halfway through the movie where I'm like, this is fun, that kind of thing. And then by the time at the end they're like, oh well, okay, like it was like, and everything's tied up in a nice neat little bow and we're good, that kind of thing.
The part with the shark was so fucking good too. I mean, the whole shark, it was good. It was funny. Like,
good,
I thought it was a very funny movie, but as a romantic comedy, I couldn't get past the fact that she was
unbelievable.
No, I just couldn't get.
The pickings are slim.
I couldn't get past the fact that she was an asshole. As a comedy, I enjoy this movie. As a romantic movie, I'm like, no. Yeah,
it's good next to my head.
And it's nothing of the fact that this guy, man, even forgot that part when he breaks his fucking leg. That was a good movie. That was a good part too of the movie of the date. Anyways, sorry. All right, so that's your number 6. My number 6 is a movie called Ava.
You told me to watch it.
Which one's that one?
So Ava stars this chick from, what was she in?
Jessica Chastain?
Yeah, Jessica whatever. What was she in before?
Molly's Game, and no, she wasn't in Jurassic Park. That's her doppelganger.
Oh no, wasn't she in Jurassic World?
No, that's
Bryce Dallas Howard.
That is right.
Yeah, that's her doppelganger.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jessica Chastain is in the movie.
Zero Dark 30.
Zero Dark 30. Thank you.
That's the one.
That it. Jeff also said Jurassic World, and we are all wrong. We don't know.
Not all redheads are the same, man.
Anyway, so Ava, she plays a hit man. She plays a contract killer. But it's not as simple as being like she starts asking questions like, what did you do wrong? Type of shit to the fucking people she's gonna end up killing, which is apparently frowned upon in the industry. You get paid to kill somebody, you just fucking kill them. And then she goes home and you realize that she had a shit ton of fucking problems.
Quit.
Fine. Fuck you,
Look
Mike.
what you did.
Fuck
Look what you did, you little jerk. Wait, now is he in the waiting room? What happened?
He's not in the waiting room yet. He just got kicked out. His internet is taking a dump, which is ironic because
we followed his advice and look, here we are. What's up, Mike?
Your internet's crapping out on you, Mike.
I think it's the Chrome. Like I don't think it's my internet. I think it was my computer running stuff.
Isn't it funny how we always try to defend our internet? Like we leave that to like the last. No, mine's good. No, mine's good. Mine's good. And then like it's just a little glitchy today.
Off.
Good. Chris says that he rage quit. But
I take this countdown serious.
Ava was fantastic. I thought it was really good. And she goes back home, and she, as a human being, has a lot of fucking issues growing up that I don't want to say lead her to killing, to being a contract killer, but they definitely led her to be getting into the military, which she then, that's a slippery slope apparently. That's how it is in movies. In movies, if you're in the military, you're either gonna have PTSD or you're gonna become a contract killer. It's one of those fucking two in the movies. So anyways,
the bag options.
The movie's fucking fantastic. Very much in the vein of very much like what's the one that Charlize Theron did, like in the 80s?
Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde. Very much like Atomic Blonde. I love the fact that this movie, it has a female lead as an action star, but it didn't make it seem as if she's untouchable. You know how they do that with dudes, where there's like you know what I mean? Like he goes through 30, like the main character goes through 30 fucking dudes, and it's like, oh, he got punched once. It's like I was never the biggest fan of that. Like I was when I was a kid because I didn't know any better. I was like, yeah, nobody can fuck with fucking Van Damme. But then as I got older, I realized like, no, it doesn't really make like it. I like when our hero has to struggle, right? And very much like Atomic Blonde got her ass whooped, even though she ended up on top, of the fight. She ended up winning the fights, but she still took fucking her licks. Jessica Chastain took fucking licks, and you go, oh fuck. It has John Malkovich, and it has what's his name, the Irish dude from Colin Farrell. I like the fact that I said the Irish dude, and you're like,
well, I'm remembering the clips of it or trailer. Maybe I saw a trailer of it, and I'm remembering it a little bit. But that's actually, I'm making a list now of stuff to watch because
me too.
Yeah,
Ava's really, really fucking good. I told Missy to watch it because it has the chick that she likes. She likes this chick a lot.
Jessica Chastain, and I am a fan. Yes.
She's a fan of hers from some movie that she did about gambling. So
the movie's called Molly. Why are you triggering me? It's called Molly's Game, and it's a great Aaron Sorkin movie.
It's an Aaron Sorkin movie, all right. Like nobody's taking that away from him. All right, so Ava is my number 6.
You can't hurt me.
Missy, what do you got for your 5?
Okay, well, this is where it gets a little heated, I think. My number 5, and if it pleases the court, let me make my case for this movie and then chew me out. My number 5 is Wonder Woman 84, and I am not expecting it to get tabled, so I'm just gonna jump right in. Say this much about this movie. I don't think it deserves the fucking level of heat that it got, in the same way that I think, Mike, you said earlier how Birds of Prey got a lot of shit. I don't think this movie deserves the amount of shit that it got. I think this is the first, I want to say it's the first blockbuster movie, superhero movie that's come out in a post-COVID world, which changed the rules for movie going. You didn't get to see it in the movie theater, which changes the experience completely. And everyone was in a shit mood anyway. So on a good fucking year, these kinds of movies get shit on left and right and picked apart to no end. And this movie really didn't stand a chance, in my perspective, in that context. Now, aside from that, I will say that there are a lot of scenes in this movie that are prevalent and important to explore, such as the greed is not good thing, such as the difference between getting what you want and growing into your powers. And of course, my tearjerker moment, which is when Diana fully deserves to get a happy ending, and she definitely does not, and for the greater good. It reminded me of much of like when Buffy and Angel, throwback, had a chance to live happily ever after, and they chose to give that up for the greater good. And it's just, I really, really enjoyed the movie. I don't think it deserves the hate that it got, and you may now proceed to chew me out. Go ahead.
I like what it did. I like the fact that it brought forth a great conversation about fuel and how we economize fuel in this world, like protecting our fossil fuels. I think it's a very important conversation that it brought about.
I can hear Jeff's head exploding somewhere. I do want to say one thing though. I was watching Batman Returns this weekend instead of watching a new movie. I know, but I will say this much: Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Before she's Catwoman, she's Serena, and she's a secretary. She's mousy and docile, and then she gets thrown out of a window, wakes up, and she can sew a fucking cat suit and karate fight everyone. I don't remember anyone fact checking whether or not that was reasonable or not, and I think it's because it's an overall generally really everyone really liked the movie, and I don't think I know not a lot of people enjoyed. I'm actually think of one person. I think it's me. I'm the list of people that enjoyed the movie. So I think that in the context of whether or not you enjoyed it is how it's the degree that you're gonna pick it apart. Is my opinion.
Yeah, Mike and I kind of came to that conclusion. At least I did. I don't know. I brought it up to Mike when I was the one episode you missed, Missy, when you were out on assignment. I kind of brought this. I was making fun of Mike for all this type of shit, and I brought up the fact that in Endgame, Rhodey didn't have he just came up with a new suit out of nowhere. He just Giant Man opened up his hand. He's like, "Oh, Rhodey has a new suit. Oh, that's cool. Where the fuck did he get that from?" But nobody said that.
Where did he get the financing for that?
So we brought up this whole thing, and I made that same kind of declaration. I said the reason why we didn't pick it apart is because we enjoy the movie and you're willing to forgive more. So when you're not enjoying something, you start going wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
I'll tell you this.
That makes sense.
Were there box DVDs in 1999? Let's talk about it.
What a controversy.
Box DVDs?
People are pissed on Twitter because
WandaVision?
Yes, that's not believable that in Sokovia 1999 the guy would have a box of DVDs of old TV shows. And it's of all the things that are unbelievable
So there were, first of all, people were saying the first wave of fucking misinformation was DVDs didn't exist in 1999. And as somebody,
they absolutely did.
As somebody who worked at Blockbuster in 1999, I was like, you're fucking wrong.
That name you just dropped.
We have a DVD section. It's that one shelf right there.
When I worked at Best Buy in 2000, there was a full DVD section, and I bought a DVD player, and we had DVDs in plenty.
So that was the first wave, and then the second wave was they wouldn't have the TV. That TV wouldn't be able to play a DVD. And I was like, what about if they had an adjuster or fucking whatchamacallit?
Adapter or whatever?
An adapter. And then it became this whole there wasn't, I'm like, look, there wasn't box sets. They didn't have TV shows in 1999.
They also didn't have witches and
which is what we're saying.
No.
I'm mocking all these people who are nitpicking this shit. We're all saying get the fuck over it. Don't be dumb.
I honestly Wonder Woman 84. As much as my knee-jerk reaction was to dislike it and to pick it apart, it was because of that. We talked about it. It was because we were also because the bar was really high and the expectation was really high. So the bar of the first Wonder Woman was great, very high. And then also because of COVID, everyone was waiting to see what this first, superhero movie that comes out was going to be like. And it was just this odd, and it was just a really weird mix of things that were good and things things that were bad and things that I felt the need, I just, because I wasn't enjoying it all as a puzzle, all put together. I picked it apart. Looking back on it, it's it's dumb to be that angry about it, a fucking comic book movie or any movie really, but it's
but especially a superhero movie.
Yes, especially a superhero movie.
But
I'm not going to say I don't think it. I still don't think it's a good movie. I still am not.
No, I know. I support your opinion. What I'm saying is that I think that there are a lot of influences to that. I think everyone had a shit year, and it's also a movie that's meant to be seen in a movie theater and not in your fucking house.
That's
and I think that's a really good big factor in why people were so disappointed in it, because everyone's sick of being home to begin with, and you're looking for this high, the high that you always get from watching superhero movies, and you didn't get that because you were in your fucking couch or room.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I was with my in-laws. That movie never had a chance. All right.
I hope Vanessa turned. I hope Vanessa's sleeping.
See what I did there?
Watch your back. You gotta watch the door now, Mike.
She's pregnant. She ain't fucking bringing her ass over here for that.
Okay. Gunk.
What?
Oh my God.
Oh man, what number are we on? What are we doing? What's happening?
Dave, hit me with your number 5, bro. What's your number 5?
You say Dave?
Did I say Dave?
How dare you?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was seeing how I see how big he is in my screen, and that reminds me of full-size Dave. So I just immediately got him Dave. I apologize. No, Mike, hit me with your
number 5. My number 5 is Extraction.
That's also my number 5, BFF. All right.
Yeah, Extraction was dope. So fucking good, action packed.
Yep.
So many like super good long tracking shots. Is that one single one take shot that was incredible
in the car that goes from inside the car? It goes from outside the car, inside the car, fucking out, come back.
It was
in.
great. It was so good. Chris
good.
Hemsworth being fucking Chris Hemsworth. Like he's just like, and the little kid does a great job. That little kid was fucking tastic.
Yeah.
It had David Harbour in it. It was like this cool, like showdown at the end. Oh man, it was just like, it was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite action movies, like of the last few years. Like it was just like a super perfect action movie. This troubled main guy who's like this super badass, but it's also realistic because he does like get hurt and shit. It was great. It was so fun, unexpected too. Like I saw it, I'm like, oh, let me just watch it, and then I ended up like,
really enjoying it.
Yeah, well, my test now. It used to be that I would be watching a movie and then pick up my phone every now and again. Now it's I'm on my phone with a movie in the background. So if a movie holds your attention, it's even better. It has to be good. I remember like at a certain point, I was just like, put this phone down, okay? I'm just gonna. Watch it.
I'm with you. I had that same litmus test when it's like I didn't pick up my phone the entire time. Like it was one of those things. But it's fucking really good, man. I mean,
what about that scene when he confesses what he did and he's like crying and broken? Like I don't think the Chris Hemsworth has had a lot of room to show range outside of like brute force. And I think that this movie really did him a favor with that because that scene is brutal.
Endgame was like that.
Endgame, he was like that. I mean, we forget about Endgame because he's wearing that fat makeup and you just see him as a fat guy. So it's like funny. But he had moments where he was broken, where he was like the whole movie in Endgame, he was just fucking broken.
Yeah. And he does a great job like portraying like the PTSD, like denial, but it's like creeping out of him, the triggers when he hears the word. He's a good actor. Like he's
great.
He's so talented, you get mad at him because he's too good looking. You're like,
I'm mad at him. I'm mad at him because last year I signed up for his workout app and I got charged $100. And then this year it was on renewal and I didn't know about that it was on renewal. So I got charged $100. And the day that I got charged, I canceled it and I was like, hey, and I wrote to them and I was like, yo, can I get a refund? Because it just charged me today. And they were like, nope. As per our fucking terms and agreements, we don't refund you for any unused. I'm like, but I just got charged today. Like, I'm not even asking you. And they're like, nope. And I was
like,
did
you try emailing him personally?
I threw his name in the email though to customer service. I go, I'm embarrassed that Chris Hemsworth is even a part of this. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself doing. And I even threw in the fact that we were in a pandemic. I'm like in the middle of a pandemic where I've lost my job and Chris Hemsworth, fucking movie star, won't refund me my $100. I swear to God, I wrote that. I'm not lying. Fuck him. He's a fucking mega superstar. He's got millions of dollars. He needs my $100 because a fucking fat guy fell for your fucking shit that he wants to work out like you. Fuck you.
Did you do any of the workouts though?
No, none of them. No. I refuse. Now I refuse. I'm like, no, fuck him. Fuck him.
It's not him.
This literally just happened like a month and a half ago. Like I still have 10 months to fucking use this thing. And I'm like,
Do
no,
it, man.
No.
Can you tell me the secret?
No. And then I won't be able to say that I fucking need the refund. No.
Oh, that's
I don't
funny.
think they care. I don't think they care. You're not getting your money back. It could be worse. You could order something and put a fucking water bottle.
No, Chris Hemsworth, you're fucking in the middle of a pandemic.
How come I can't put the wrap it up banner? He's so mad. Ah, you motherfucker.
All right. So, Missy, what's your number 4?
All right. Well, taking a turn from the action-packed couple of picks we've had, my number 4 is Chemical Hearts. It streams on Prime, and it's a teenage coming-of-age movie that is not the traditional, doesn't follow the traditional cookie-cutter cheerleader versus emo girl type of archetype that we're used to seeing lately. Or generally, I should say, not, that's a blanket statement, but generally speaking, that's usually the thing. And this is actually deals with a lot of heavier things that I think that in adolescence isn't really touched upon or in movies or just generally in any conversation. And Lady Reinhardt plays the protagonist, and she has been through some shit. And the kind of stuff that, like, this movie is really great because it covers a moment in these two characters' life, and I know that it's based on a book, but it's that weird. Huh? No, not by no. No. It's at that cusp of where you're not a kid anymore, and you're not fully an adult. You're kind of like transitioning. You're walking that bridge.
Yeah, that Britney Spears song.
Britney Spears song.
Yeah, not a girl, not yet a woman. Yeah, we all listen to that as we clutch our pillows going to bed at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that's where I was going with it. But it was really enjoyable and very thought provoking, and it was a coming of age movie that had a lot of substance, which I really enjoy, and I tend to gravitate towards those stories anyway because I can't relate to the traditional like cheerleader versus emo girl shit that is typically, and I'm using a very generalized example, but typically like the archetype for these coming of age movies is this deals with a lot of shit, mental health, grief, trauma, like all kinds of shit, and falling in love and having your heart broken for the first time. Like it's a great watch. So if you're ever PMSing, I recommend it.
Oh, okay. It's a heavy drama. It's a PMS movie.
No, I just said that because
bring your chocolate, son.
Yeah.
Special dark chocolate. No, it's not a PMS movie. That's not.
But it's a heavy drama. Like it's not funny in any way. It's
not a comedy. No, it's not.
Yeah,
if you're in a good mood and you're looking for a happy ending, this is not what you want. But
Gotcha.
Otherwise, it's a good story, and it's a good it's a good story. So I recommend it. If you're,
Mike, what's your number 4, man?
My number 4 is Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right.
Wow. What number did you have it, sir?
This is the last movie I saw in the movie theater, and that's why I guess I really like have a hard time not thinking of it. First of all, as a movie, like I saw it in the theater. It was a thing. It was a thing that I was waiting for something else, and I was in the city, and I was like, I got like hours to kill, and then I was like, maybe there's a movie theater by here, and I was like, I had some Regal points, I was like, let me just go watch a movie, and I ended up. I can't remember what else was out at the time, but the only thing I really cared that interested me was Sonic the Hedgehog. I was like, let me go watch it. It'll be funny, whatever. Like something to see. I ended up kind of like having a great time with it. It was cookie cutter, animated character with human people, and Jim Carrey was this over the top thing, and it was fun. It was like a good time. And because it was the last movie I saw in the theater, I'm just like, I think of it fondly, and it wasn't bad. Like, it was great. And I totally think that the redesign of it all, like where they had to read that whole scandal, it was genuinely worth it, because at a certain point it was like, okay, that's Sonic. Had I been watching it the other way, maybe I wouldn't have thought the same thing, but like, it was cool. I loved it. I mean,
I
it was
love this movie unapologetically,
yeah.
not because it was the last movie that I saw, not because it was I had to kill time. And like I love this movie for everything. Aside from the fact that I saw this movie in movie theaters. I saw it on Valentine's Day when it came out, and I watched it with both my kids. It was me and both my kids
Yeah.
watching this movie, and my daughter's a huge fan of Sonic. Prior to this movie, and we were just like fucking loving this movie. It was fantastic.
That's
It,
cute.
the Sonic was funny.
Ben Schwartz was great.
Jim Carrey was back at his Jim Carreyness. It was back at the fucking like, hey, this is what I want Jim Carrey for. And I know he doesn't want to hear that, but it's the truth. Like I fucking enjoyed the fuck out of Jim Carrey in this movie. Everything was really cool. I like the way that they brought in the rings. I'm gonna go ahead and dare to say, up until this point, as of right now, March 1st, 2021, this is the best video game adaptation movie of all time.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with you. It's
yeah.
so good.
It's so good. They bring in like the rings that Sonic has to collect in the fucking video game is just money. It's just all that is. But the way they explain it in the movie, it's like it's a way to transport him to different worlds. And it's fucking great, man. I mean, that scene where he's going from the fucking from Egypt from the pyramids of Egypt and France, and he's just going through all these. It's fucking great visually.
It's just a fun fucking movie, you know, like James Marsden being, you know, just like, hey, hey, look at me, I'm the human in this movie, you know, and
it was touching when he said when Dr. Robotnik was like, you're willing to put your life on this line for this thing, this alien, and he says he's my friend.
Yeah,
like just that one, like he's my friend, and I'm like.
It's so good. It was just really enjoyable, and it's high on my list because it's was the last movie I saw, but it is absolutely, regardless of what 2020, if COVID hadn't happened, it would be on my list as a good 2020 movie. You know, like it was just like solid all the way through, fun time. I'd watch it again. I'd recommend it to people.
I own it.
Yeah,
it's in the family share, BFF. You could watch it.
I'm gonna watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's streamed on HBO Max.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's my number 4.
All right, my number 4. It was about time that Pixar reared its head. So my number 4 is Onward.
Nice. Go on.
The fact that nobody tabled this is.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either.
I don't expect Missy to watch it. Mike, it's.
I get it. It's elves and fucking fantasy stuff.
It's literally D&D. It's literally D&D.
I don't know.
Like,
I guess it's just
literally elves going on an adventure, looking for a magical spell, and then using other spells. Like it's literally like they fucking have this whole thing.
I know.
And I'm not a D&D guy at all, but even I was like, oh, that's a phrase from fucking D&D, right? That's a thing.
I'm sick of Pixar fucking with my emotions.
Okay.
Well, that's what they do. They're in the business.
That's all they do, man. They're so good at it too.
Yeah.
Finding Dory fucked me up for real.
Oh, that movie's like the least of that's my Pixar list.
Inside Out.
Finding Dory messed me up. Oh, because I was on an airplane and I was stuck on an airplane going like, why can't nobody look at me? You know, like it was bad.
When Bing Bong dies and
yeah. I'm sick of it. What is the sad? I know that Onward, it's about the father. Like the writers and director of the movie had lost his father, and this was like a love letter from his brother to. His brother to his about his
brothers.
father.
It's two brothers played by Spider-Man and Star-Lord. And it's two brothers that they find a magical spell. Their dad left behind. Like the dad passed away when before Spider-Man was even born. Like while Spider-Man. So Spider-Man never met his dad, right? And then Star-Lord was like 4 years old when he died. So he has like 3 memories of him. And there's like a audio recording of like the last time that he called the house, and like Spider-Man fucking just like replays that on a loop because he you know what I mean? So he's like he wears his dad's old fucking university sweater and all that shit. They're trying to he's trying to make a connection with the dad that he doesn't know.
Right.
His dad has a spell. They live in a fantasy world. His dad casts a spell where for one day he could come back to life for one day. But the problem is that they need a stone for the second half of the spell. So for the whole movie, he's just the bottom half. His
pants.
just the legs. Yeah, his pants. And so the whole movie is them looking for a journey, is going through a quest to find this other stone, to find it. And it's, and very touching, and it's very like, and then it becomes this thing where the dad that he's been looking for his whole life, his brothers filled those shoes, and he didn't even realize that. So it's a whole thing.
Fine.
Mike, you have a brother. This thing is about brothers. You like D&D. This thing is it's literally they made this movie like Mike is gonna love this.
You know how
when they were making the movie, like, man, I can't wait for fucking Mike to see this. This is gonna be great.
It's like you know how like when they do it, and it's like it's quiet. It's too quiet.
Yeah,
that's what this movie feels like. It's too wrath. It's like this. It's like, oh, this is for Mike. It's too Mike. Like it's like so on the nose that I'm always like, I'll get to it eventually. But yeah, all right. I guess I'll watch it.
It's really good, man. It's my number 4. All right, 3. Missy, what's your number 3?
Okay. My number 3 is a reboot. So just
I like how you do the disclaimer before you say the name of the movie.
Every disclaimer the whole time. Like she spends a minute vamping about this, like using disclaimers to then get.
I know what's gonna happen. I know what's about to happen.
Okay.
Now, the irony in me picking a reboot, I know, is bullshit because I hate the fact that they keep getting produced. But me watching them.
What was it?
I said I hate the fact that they get produced at the volume that they do, and that's my gripe with them. That's 100% my gripe with them. But if I will watch it, I might. Yeah. So my number 3 is Emma. Last year's iteration of Emma. It stars Anna Taylor-Joy, who we know from Queen's Gambit.
And the New Mutants that was also released in 2020. One of the movies I saw in 2020. She's in that one too.
Good movie, dude. Oh fuck! Hold on.
So he's gonna have to rearrange it.
Oh, you should have brought this up 5 picks ago, bro. I can't take shit out now. Fuck.
Wait,
but so this is Emma, like the Jane Austen Emma?
It's a 4th iteration of the Jane Austen Emma in a feature film format.
What makes it different than the other ones?
What makes it different than the other ones, good question, is the fact that this one I feel has, so the other, aside from Clueless, the other 2 versions of this that I had to watch were for school, not because I wanted to. They're very Britishy, like uptight, which of course makes sense because it's the Jane Austen brand. But this movie, what it did, which I found really enjoyable, was that it kind of made the interactions, the dialogue, the whole movie way more dimensional. And the dad is fucking hilarious in this movie. Like it humanizes this very epic canon, like this movie is this story is part of like the canon of greatest books of all time, and for whatever reason, because I'm not really that big of a Jane Austen fan, but I think that it's really fun to watch, and the fact that they made the characters way more dynamic, like vulnerable. I don't know, there's something about it that it wasn't as uptight and stagnant like the other versions. This is, of course, separate than the Clueless one, which is my favorite. But
I didn't even know Clueless was an Emma thing.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was that at some point last year, I went through a phase where I was really into like period dramas with like the drama of the costume and whatever, all that shit. I was watching Pride and Prejudice a lot, which is never mind. So
and The Crown.
Yeah, but all these drama's like I just think like the costume design, like the drama of all of it, I love that, and this kind of checked that off. So it was a fun watch. I recommend, and yeah, Emma, my number 3.
Emma. My number 3 is very different than your number 3.
I hope so.
Because my number 3 is Borat, subsequent the movie film.
Yep.
Borat 2.
Wasn't those the same thing? Isn't that a double feature? It was Emma and then Borat.
Yeah. That's how they program. Yeah, that's how they do it. They put you buy Emma, you get Borat. You buy Borat, you get Emma. It's just the way it is. This movie, again, a big surprise. I did not expect this movie to be as good as it was, and that Maria Bakalova, the girl that plays his daughter, is so amazing
Talented.
in this.
Talented.
Just so incredibly talented in this movie.
It was yesterday.
She won?
Yeah. Well, Borat, like the movie one, not her.
She's been nominated for a million awards. Like this, she was genuinely so good in that movie that it almost took me out of it as to like, it's like, you know how like when someone's so good that you'd forget that they're acting or you forget that it's a movie. In this one, she was so good that I forgot she was acting, but then I remembered and it was like, oh my God, that like she's too good. You know, like when she is in this, like, because once COVID hits, the whole movie had to change, right? Like you watched that process in the movie of all of the stuff that that was happening. Suddenly they have to get locked down. They're talking about COVID. Fucking Sacha Baron Cohen, the way he tells the story about how he had to wait for in the CPAC conference that's happening now. He was in it and he had to wait in a thing dressed as Trump for like 45 minutes, almost like hours. Like he's committed to these high risk things. And then this girl who nobody knows is doing the same shit, going into keeping up with him, interviewing Rudy Giuliani, almost getting sexually assaulted by Rudy Giuliani. Like it was just, and the way it was all put together was genuinely like, I didn't think I needed another Borat movie. I just watched the first one again or whatever, but it was so good. It was so, and that girl deserves every credit every award she gets. She was so fantastic. And that's what, I mean, it's number 3, you know, it's high on my list.
I thought the movie was very funny. Where it lost me was when, and I know that this is part of the fucking part of it, part of the charm, I guess, whatever it was, is I didn't care for the like sappy, like, oh, father-daughter turn.
You really?
I did not.
I would not have expected
I don't want to watch a fucking Borat movie for a father-daughter fucking rekindling. Fucking to me, I was like, the comedy was outstandingly funny. The part where they bring her out in the ball, like when they announce her in the fucking ball. I mean, it is fucking absurdly funny. It's absurdly funny. The miscommunication when he's talking to the gynecologist about putting
the baby inside her. Oh my God.
Just absurdly fucking hilarious.
The black lady that he leaves her to stay with for a little while, like they've since like made it really nice, but she was so supportive and super sweet and telling her that, you know, about women, and like it was I mean, I didn't expect the heartwarming side of it.
I didn't want the heartwarming side of it. And then and don't get me wrong, the heartwarming side of it was done well. It was actually heartwarming. But I'm not going to I don't want to see a Borat movie for heartwarming. It just didn't.
Like me and the love story at the end of Casino Royale.
Right.
There's murder.
Missy was watching Casino Royale, and then there was like 20 minutes where it was a love story. She was like, I'm not fucking coming to see Bond for a romantic comedy.
Missy's like, I crave violence.
Yes.
Where's the violence?
Yeah.
And it's felt that way about, and again, I get it. I'm alone on this island because everybody who liked this movie, if you hate it for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
But if you like this movie, everybody who likes this movie is always talking about how great it is. It's not just a comedy; it's heartwarming, and like that's how good of a storyteller Sacha Baron Cohen is. And I'm not disagreeing with any of that. All I'm saying is I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't want it for.
I get it.
don't want it.
No,
don't
I
want
understand.
Hashtag not my Sasha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
But
I
I'll tell
murdered
you, that I genuinely,
She's a
again,
fantastic actress. Like that chick is bonkers good.
the feat of the movie is why it's so high, because of how crazy
Yeah.
into the danger zone he goes to make
Dude,
these things.
The fact that he went into that place, that rally, and he started singing, and it was fucking. If you want, have you seen the behind the scenes of it, of him trying to get out?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things of it. I don't know which one when he's trying to get out.
But he was like, when they finally got him out of there, they had to sneak him out of there in a fucking van, and people were coming after him, dude. People were like legit, like, and I was like, oh shit. So, I like that movie for the comedies. I think is outrageously funny. I just didn't want the rest of the movie.
Sure.
All right. So that's his number 3. My number 3 is Old Guard. Old Guard. Charlize Theron playing an immortal. Along with a team of immortals, and she's the leader of the immortals, and it's really good. And then the bad guy from Harry Potter plays the bad guy here. So,
You want me to pull up the cast name or?
Yeah.
No,
we're good.
I think I'm doing it justice.
The whole idea of I'll tell you where that movie was like genuinely like fucked with my head was when the woman that had been put in the water, the lady that just
yeah.
Oh,
There's a sequel.
That
was ordered. There's a sequel that was ordered to the Old Guard. It just COVID fucked everything up, but they're working on it.
But yeah, that scene with because this movie didn't make my list, but I did watch it in like pieces because it was also like how you watch the movie indicates how much you remember it. So this was one that I watched like on my breaks at work and in between on my phone, But that scene where where they finally reveal that his love or whatever had been just drowning forever, like come back to life and then drown again. Like what a
But it was good with the action too, and it had a good story. Like it was interesting.
Can I tell you one of my favorite parts is when the other military comes in and they're like they take these guys in custody or whatever, and he's like, oh, so what are you, like his boyfriend? And the description,
oh my god,
the description of their love for one another.
Oh my god.
I don't want to be loved like that.
I looked at my wife and I was like, why did you ever say shit like that about me?
This is almost as good as the father-daughter thing in Borat.
It was that description of their love for each other is like, yeah, sure, if you want to say that's my boyfriend, fine. But it was beautiful. Like, but the whole movie was great, man. It threw me off. I didn't know what the fuck to expect. I didn't know it dealt with immortals and all this shit there. So when they got fucking killed in the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, we're gonna Tarantino this bitch. We're gonna see how they get here. We're gonna go back in time.
Wow.
Oh no, they're fucking standing up. Oh shit, okay. Like I mean, like I was like fucking in. Dude.
Well, that was it. What's that shit called that when this was my number 7? What was it that shit called when like do you put on Netflix and they play like a clip, like not a trailer, but like they loop like 15 seconds of it over and over again?
Oh yeah, like the preview thing that when you're on the screen.
Yeah, I guess. So there's a tease or whatever. That's what hooked me into watching it, is that the fact that there's like that major shootout, they're all dead and they all just come back and I'm like, what's this about?
Oh, you saw that shit? Oh man, thank God I didn't see that because that was a major fucking plus. That was a major excitement point for me watching.
For you going in not knowing anything.
Like, I didn't know anything. So I was like, it's Charlize Theron. It's an action movie. I'm a huge fan of Atomic Blonde. I'm fucking in. Like that's all I needed to know. And then when they killed them, I was like, I legitimately thought they're gonna go back in time. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go back in time to find out how we got here.
I mean, they did, but
and then they stood up, and I was like, oh boy, this is. I
liked how she would throw like when the pictures of her, there was like anytime there was like she was in the background of anything, she would have to get it like deleted or whatever of the pictures. I thought that was like an interesting nuanced thing, like a little detail of like, don't catch me in the background of nothing,
Well, but they did.
Her Instagram sucks.
It's just food. It's just food.
Honestly, I miss those food Instagrams, man. That's all my social media. My TikTok algorithm is just people cooking because it's soothing. That's all it
You
is.
gotta work on that algorithm.
Fuck you, I love it.
He's
I love
so
it.
like this is so ridiculous because I literally sent Mike a fucking video on Instagram of a professional chef cooking and preparing meat, which he loves, and he's like, "Oh fuck, this guy's annoying." I'm like, "What? What?
No, the guy's annoying. I don't like
just watches people eat.
No, I don't like the people that go, "Hey y'all, so we're gonna be cooking up this fucking steak with like, you know, like that they're like, we're gonna do it extra," and then they add like some extra stupid ingredient. I'm like, just like show me some nice, calm ASMR cooking. I don't even need to see your face. I barely need to see your hands. Just chop.
Cooks in the woods. You follow him.
Almasan Kitchen. Hell yeah, I follow that guy.
All right. We're getting off track. All right. So that was my number 3. Was that number 3? Yeah, that's my number 3. Yes. Missy's number 7. So Missy, we're at number 2. What do you got for number 2, man?
My number 2 is Hamilton. No, okay.
Interesting.
I forgot this was in 2020. And I now
traumatized me with this.
And now
does it count as a movie?
Well, to the Golden Globes, it does. You got nominated.
That's true. That's true.
I forgot about this, and I didn't put Hamilton on my list. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of Soul and put Hamilton as my number 2.
Wow.
So Hamilton is my number 2.
What a plot twist!
I didn't expect it. I feel like a fraud now because I didn't have I just forgot. It was one of those things. It took up 5 months of my 2020. And
I know
that it came out in 2020.
It's also like you wouldn't have taken out Soul for New Mutants.
But no, I wouldn't.
But you would take it out for Hamilton.
Yeah.
Wow. Now I'm curious as to what your number 1 is.
Doesn't matter. Number 1 and 2 are interchangeable, but fuck, Hamilton is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I will say this, that for me, I've been tracking this musical since 2015, and I have been obsessed with it. So, but unfortunately, because of the way that it's worked out, obviously, I wasn't able to see the original cast, when they did their first run. And the way I just instinctively started, I don't know if this happens to you either. Well, yeah, I guess it does, but I can easily get like emotional watching something that I really enjoy, like musicals. I'll cry. Like I can easily cry. And the way that I wasn't even planning on it. I didn't even watch it thinking, like, put it on thinking like, oh, I'm going to cry in 3, 2, 1. It just fucking happened because I was just so excited. It was so, and it dropped in July, which was halfway through 2020, which was a shit show. Like I had been hitting a fucking pandemic wall at that point. And so just the gratification and like the comfort, I guess, in seeing and getting the satisfaction of watching a version of this musical with the original cast in its fucking heyday was just phenomenal. And I think that it deserves all the hype that it had before and after, obviously. And I hope that the success of this movie will open the doors, because a format of this, like, kind of recording Broadway musicals or plays or whatever, and then streaming them, that exists already on Broadway HD. But it's not marketed. It's not as prevalent. It's not like a thing that's very pushed to the forefront of like it was for Hamilton on Disney Plus, because it's Disney. And I had actually I rediscovered my fandom for this musical. I never really left, but it came back pretty hard. And luckily for me, I had a close friend that stumbled upon it for the first time and fell in love with it. And that's Nary.
That's Nary.
Yeah. If you want to hear me talk about Hamilton, we did Mount Geekmore back in September for best movie musicals. And I specifically brought up and suggested that topic just so I could talk about Hamilton. Spoiler alert, it's my number 1 pick. And that episode was 3.5 hours long because the last 40 fucking minutes was me talking about Hamilton.
Damn.
Not an exaggeration. Not gonna bore you with my love letter for that fucking for that Broadway production, for that play runs deep. It's not long. It doesn't run long because it just started last July. I just found it last July. But fuck,
I need to get my charger. Be right back.
I went all in with that play. So to the point that I'm getting a tattoo. I'm gonna eventually, once COVID is over, I'm gonna get a tattoo with it. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. I'm like head over heels.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to tell them how you felt about it before?
What?
Like how what did you think about Hamilton before you saw the?
Well, I don't know if I said this on the podcast last week or something, but I talking about my wife would play the soundtrack, and what I'm about to say just further taught me that I'm a visual learner. Because my wife would play the soundtrack for years, like 3 years ago. She would play the soundtrack on the car on the drive back from Disney, and I just didn't know what they were talking about. They were just rapping too fast. I was like, I don't get what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about, so I just don't understand it. And I never spoke ill of it. I never said, oh, that's a piece of shit or that sucks. I just said, I don't get it. I'm not. I just don't get it. I don't get the hype.
You get it now.
And then I watched it, and again, this just illustrates how much of a visual learner I am. I watched it. I'm like, oh, this is stunning. And then I became that guy that my wife literally forced me to watch it. She shit, fucking, you're gonna watch this. She forced me to watch it, and then that weekend I worked at the West Palm Beach Improv, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday was 4 days, and each way. It was an hour and a half each drive each way, and each way I would listen to it, and each way I would listen to it back. Like, so it was literally that weekend I listened to it easily over 10 hours of just back to back with no interruptions. And then that went on for months. Literally.
All right, I'll watch it.
But that literally went on for months, where it was every time that Missy got in my car, every time that anybody got in my car, like Hamilton was already.
I know people. Look, trust me, man. I know plenty of people who were like super into. I mean, here, like in New York, it was everybody was trying to go see it. Everyone would do the lottery. Everyone was trying to get tickets, and it was just this insane buzz of this new thing. And I guess like maybe I have that like contrarian in that moment of like, everybody. I wish I had. I was more into musicals. I just they don't connect with me strongly, but I do like what I've heard of the music. So
good
it's like
it's good storytelling.
I know I should watch it.
But it's fantastic.
So you made that your number 2.
I made that my number 2 only because, and the only reason it's not my number 1 is because I don't want to bump 2 movies down. So I'm just literally just moving one. I'm just moving one because the number 1 is gonna. I forgot that this movie existed. This list would have been different had I remembered about New Mutants and had I remembered about Hamilton.
Sure,
it just the bottom 2 would have fallen out. Is all.
My number 2 is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Good movie, man. Good choice. Good choice, my friend.
2020 did not deserve this movie. It was so joyous. It was so fun.
It was excellent.
It was just so. It was just so what we needed in that moment of like, I needed something that was pure good, just something that was just great. And
it didn't try to be more than it was. It understood the movie that it was.
Yeah.
It was better than part 2.
Well, I mean, I love them all. I don't want to say it was better or worse. They're great. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bogus Journey.
I think this is the best one, in my opinion. I think.
Well, like again, it's hard to separate because of the nostalgia of how long ago those movies, how long they've been around, and how much I've seen those. Like, I love the Bill and Ted movies. I can quote like a ton of the Bill and Ted movies, but this new one, like all of the additional characters that were brought in, like Anthony Carrigan as the robot guy.
So
he's
good.
So fucking good.
Fucking good.
He's NoHo Hank on Barry. If you haven't seen Barry, Barry is incredible. Barry's on HBO Max. Watch Barry. It is super good. He plays NoHo Hank, and that's one of my favorite characters on TV of the last decade. And the girls that play their daughters do such a good job of like
mimicking them
of
like
just, but still being their own kind of thing.
Yes.
And the way the story works out, Death comes back. Like, I just love the idea that Death and Bill and Ted's.
He's offended. He's like hurt by them. He's hurt by them.
Yeah.
His feelings were hurt. Like, it's so fucking good.
But I love that Death is in Bill and Ted's is also the president in Iron Man 3 and in the Marvel movies. President Ellis is Death. The same actor plays both characters.
Yeah.
I love that. It's just such a good kind of like great little like friend care, like about friends and family and togetherness. And it was just like this just good feeling movie that came out in like the worst possible year for it. It was just, it was great.
Does Keanu Reeves say whoa at any point in the movie?
Keanu Reeves is fucking Ted Theodore Loganing so hard in that movie. He's still like, there's no pretense about it.
I love the fact that was that character's name Missy too? Yeah, right. Missy?
Yeah, Missy is the mom.
I love the fact that like it's so good. It's so she marries somebody else, and like now that fucking dad is all down and depressed.
Yeah,
it's so great. Great pick, man. Great pick.
I love that movie. Yeah, it's super good.
I had to watch it, but instead I watched Speed a bunch of times.
If you love Bill and Ted's, it's great. It's so good.
I rewatched Bill and Ted's last 2019, the original, and I was like, oh man, this doesn't age well. I thought it was kind of corny and cheesy.
Yeah.
But fuck, the new one is really good, man. I liked it. All right, so Missy, what's your number one?
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my number one is a Netflix movie by the name of Prom, which I guarantee neither of you have seen.
Is that the one with James Corden?
This movie has everything you want. For starters, it has Meryl Streep, so we're starting high. But yes, it has James Corden in it. And it came out, I want to say like December. I'm trying to pull it up, but it came out really late last year. But it gives you it. So yeah, it has Meryl Streep, James Corden, Nicole Kidman, and Kerry Washington. So a pretty stacked cast out the gate, and Andrew Reynolds, who's fucking phenomenal in everything he does. So this is a musical. Set in it starts off in New York, but moves to Midwest, and the premise is that these like has-been trope of musical stars, they're looking for like a headline, like an Ellen type story where they go out and they do some outreach for some kid, and then that'll get them like the press or whatever. That's the premise of it, but it actually goes up way deeper than that. Conversation about coming out, parents reacting to that and that whole resistance, and it's got music, it's got dancing, it's got colors, it's aesthetically fun, and a great story, great ending, and everybody at that I feel like this was a very well balanced movie for everyone, because in their own right, each, like the first four names that I mentioned could have been like the standalone star of the movie, but each of them holds their own very well. And I think just in the context of the batch of movies that I had to work with, it has a little bit of everything you want that I enjoyed from the other movies, which was, the fun, the kind of superficial break from the pressure of
the escapism.
Yeah, the escapism of being alive in this moment in time. And it's a fun watch, and I recommend it to anyone who needs like a 2-hour break from reality.
That's how I feel about Bill and Ted's.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. It's
great. But yeah, I've heard about it because also like James Corden got in trouble for his portrayal of a gay man or something like that.
He got in trouble because why is he playing a gay man if he's straight?
Stupid as fuck.
Look at there.
But he was also they called it queer face.
You're not gonna trigger me.
No, but they.
I'm not. I didn't even bring it up.
No, but they call it. They said that he was doing queer face in this way, that he was doing like demonstrative, performative gay, like stereotypes.
whatever.
Reynolds is like that, and he just happens to be gay for real. Like, I don't get that.
I'm just saying that's
What
all
about
I know about the movie. Is
What about
that
the dude? What about the dude from fucking Modern Family, who plays fucking gay like that? They don't fucking complain about him. Why?
they have, but like it's not as big a deal. Like, but definitely like there's a. I guess there's I'm just saying that's all. That's the only thing I've heard about that movie is the bad stuff. So I don't know if it's good.
I never heard about this movie at all. So, but I'm interested.
Yeah,
it's a fun one.
That's good.
Mike, what do you got for number one?
My number one, I actually just watched it a couple days ago because I was like, oh, I got to watch more movies for the top 10, and it ended up being the best one I've seen. It blew me away. It was called The Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
With Riz Ahmed and the girl from Ready Player One. It's a drama. It's not a comedy. It's about music and this guy who loses his hearing and becomes deaf because his ears get blown out in like a heavy metal thing. And it's about like the relationships and the psychology of suddenly losing a sense and doing everything you can to get it back. And he's like this former addict. And then he realizes he's addicted to like this sense of hearing and he needs to like figure out a way back. And it's bonkers, crazy good acting. Riz Ahmed deserves awards. It's the sound design of it is intense. You should watch it with headphones. It is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. Like as a movie, not just, like, how like you watch like movies and, oh, this movie's the best. This like quality wise and in terms of like filmmaking is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It was incredibly good. And just, it made me want to learn sign language because I have tinnitus and I've developed tinnitus over the years of like the same kind of thing, metal shows, weird noise, earbuds, whatever it is. I've developed, like the buzzing in your ears and like and I've always had, I ruptured my eardrum when I was little and I had it diminished. And I'm like, oh man, if I ever lose my hearing, I want to be able to communicate. I'm going to learn sign language. And I've like already started doing stuff on YouTube and trying to do class. It genuinely impacted me. This movie, it like affected me. It was so good. Amazing.
It's been on my radar, but I know that it's going to affect me too. And I'm just like, I'm not prepared for that right now, but I am definitely like interested in watching it and just putting it off because I don't want to experience it right now.
I put it on not thinking I was just going to be on my phone and just like, oh, I'll watch it. It's one of those I'll tune in, whatever. And because of the way that the sound is utilized in the movie, there were moments where I was like, is the movie stopped? Like I was just hearing background. Like I was just like, what is going on? And then they were doing like
they're giving you like a sensory experience as to like what he's going through.
So good. And then I put my phone down and that's why I was like, and then by the end of it I was just like, it's like one of the movies where the movie ends and you're still like, huh.
It stayed with you.
Yeah, it stayed with me. So right now, like I'm like it's number one, like far beyond any of the other movies in terms of like as a film, as quality. It was fucking good.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
My number one, and we'll wrap it up quickly because we're coming up on 2 hours now. My number one is The Way Back with Ben Affleck. It is this movie got me teary-eyed at the fucking trailer, which Missy and I both saw together for the first time when we were watching Birds of Prey. And I was like, oh my God, this movie. And remember when Missy was like, oh, it's a good, fun movie if you want to just take a break from it all. This is not that. This is not that. This movie comes with weights. It is such a heavy film. It fucking comes with like fucking dumbbells and you gotta fucking just do some squats and it's a lot. It's a fucking heavy film, dude.
It's a sports movie?
Ish. It has a sports background. It has sports in the background and the backdrop of it. Okay. So the backdrop of it is that he becomes a basketball coach for his old high school where he used to be a fucking all-out baller, but he has become drunk. So Ben Affleck has really spread his wings acting-wise for this role.
I mean, yeah.
But this is what made it so much more impressive to me, because he's dealt with alcoholism, and he's still fighting that now or whatever. But this movie isn't like, it's not that he's an alcoholic for the sake of being an alcoholic. There's a reason. I don't want to say the reason, but there is a motivation behind his alcoholism that you don't get to learn until the third act of the film.
Really?
And it's not like you're wanting to go like, why is he an alcoholic? You're not doing that the whole movie, because you just take the fact that people are alcoholics. And it's a road back to redemption. The road is not a straight line. It's a fucking winding road where he falls off and on again back to redemption. And it's really fucking good, man. I can't tell you how much I love this movie, because it's one of those things. And here's the thing, it's completely unrelatable to me. I'm not a drinker. I don't have like addiction like that. I don't suffer from addiction like that, unless you count food as addiction, which a lot of people don't. But I don't, you know what I mean? So I'm not watching this movie and be like, yeah, man, I watch this movie and think, man, there's a man that's in fucking pain. There's a man that's in pain, and he's trying. He may not be trying to get out of that pain, but he is now seeing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, from that pain.
People talk like it's like a gag to make fun of Ben Affleck, and he's like the butt of a lot of jokes. And when he was Batman and stuff, people forget, like, I think he's a great actor. Like, he's definitely can pull off performances that I don't think people give him credit for. But
I think for the most part, I think all of that, I remember that noise a lot about Ben Affleck for a lot of his career, but I think that noise went away when he did Argo.
Yeah.
He did
he became a director.
He did The Town, he did art, like those movies you go, that's undeniable. Like, those are on. It's not like, hey, I don't want to like this guy because he fucking dated J-Lo. It's like, no, but that work speaks for it. So like, that work is pretty fucking undeniable, right? Argo, The Town, like those are. And then The Way Back is one of those, is right up there for me. It's one of those performance pieces where you go, fuck, dude,
when I want a heavy movie, I'll look it up.
Oh yeah, this movie's going brutal. Brutal. This is not about summer fun. This is about fucking
There's no musical action.
This is about the art of acting, the fucking art, the storytelling, and about a man's road to redemption, even though he may not fucking deserve it or be fucking want it. Wow. It's like it's a stunning movie. So that's it, man. That's our top 10 for 2020.
We did it.
And we did it under 2 hours, which, if you go back to listen to any other fucking year, we've done these in part twos. We've split these episodes up.
Yeah.
Where it's like the first one is an hour and a half, the next one is 3 hours. So this episode is our shortest, probably because of 2020. Thanks, COVID. But I think if you scrape together enough of a little bit of each one of our lists, you could actually say 2020 wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
There weren't as many duplicates as I thought there would be.
No, I knew there weren't going to be a lot of duplicates.
I walked away with a short list of must watches. So it was a good time.
My must watches came from Neri's list. Sorry, Missy.
Don't worry. Wait, but
I'm not watching Prom. I'm sorry. I'm not watching.
You're not
gonna watch Emma?
I don't think so. I mean, I look, Anya Taylor-Joy is beautiful, but I'll just watch Queen's Gambit again.
You said you're gonna watch Hamilton. No, that was on my list.
Fine.
That's true. You did say that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also on my list, but whatever, it's fine. Anyways, thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you guys check us out. Here, I guess we could do this. Here. There, right there.
This is a better picture.
Right there. Make sure you check us out there. MissyWrites.com or at Missy the Writer. So
we have too much fun with these toys.
So Missy the Writer, check out Mike, many podcasts at Ola Cubanity, at Mike Contextualizes the Universe. Make sure you guys check that out. The Missing Sock Network. There's a lot of great podcasts. Check out the other podcasts that Missy is a part of, such as the Mount Geekmore podcast. That's on Geek Bro Network. Check out the other podcasts on Geek Bro Network, including Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez, Better Let Me Tell You, and What else are we talking about? Oh, Dose of Ellie. So make sure you guys check out geekbro.net and let's have some fun with it. Thank you guys for checking us out. My website is whatwashisname.com. Check out my baby registry is still up and available if you want to buy me a gift for having sex with my wife 8 months ago. Thank you guys for coming out. That's how lists are made. That's how top 10 are made.
Be excellent to each other.
You don't want to mention your show this weekend?
Oh, I'll be at the West Palm Beach Improv. Yeah, I guess I should. I'll be at the, but I'm just thinking about the audio because I never did that for the audio because I was always too late. I'll be at the West Palm Beach Improv. So if you're one of the 2 people still watching live, I'll be at the West Palm Beach Improv Thursday, the 4th, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the 4th through the 6th. So make sure you check us out. That's how lists are made. And that's how waiting is done. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya said it was a great show. Thank you.